I love manually focusing. But I wonder, is zone focus like a real thing? I'm trying to get the sun out of my face here. Zone focusing is definitely a real thing, and it's pretty amazing. Now I could just measure this, but this is way beyond 20 feet, or actually probably 18 to 25 feet, I would say, because I measure by how tall a basketball rim would be, and I would say that this is probably about 20 feet. So I could put this on infinity focus and it would probably be cool. But when you zone focus, it really kind of, hones you in on a specific area. And I love working like that because it kind of frees you up to use vintage lenses like this one, because I'm using a Minolta 50mm f1.4 Rokkor lens, my father's old lens, and I have the freedom to work with it, and I know that if I'm working far away like this and I'm shooting a scene, I'm free to move around and pretty much everything's going to be in focus. Even if I get closer, well, let me get close for a second, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is my voiceover voice now, because for some reason I lost the audio to this part of the video. However, this is a good example of how I slightly blur out the subject, because maybe the environment is the most important thing. Like, maybe the person watching needs to see what's going on around the subject, because maybe something crazy is about to happen. And I could also make this look like kind of a dramatic looking shot if I set my focus to, say, 13 feet away, which is how far I am now, but I'm shooting at f4. And so now the sign is a little blurred out and it looks more kind of like a movie, right? Like, we're blurring things out. I'm the only thing clear. You pay attention to me. I'm the character. Something might be going on. Maybe I'm waiting for somebody. Maybe somebody's about to come from behind me and do something crazy. Maybe I'm going to meet somebody who's going to change my life. Suddenly they're just going to walk into the frame. Who knows what's going to happen? But chances are you're probably paying attention to me, because everything else is kind of a little blurry. What if I was shooting wide open at f1.4, 50 millimeters? And what if I wanted to blur out the background? Does it even work from this far away? I think it does, right? Wide open. The interesting thing is I only have a sliver of focus at f1.4, so how does a vintage lens, how does a manual lens work from 13 feet away, still trying to blur out and still trying to separate the subject? Like, this could be a really emotional moment, like a big ending or maybe a beginning, making you kind of wonder like what's going on, but you're focused on the subject and you see a lot of stuff behind me blurred out, but you get my whole body at 50 millimeters, so I cause a lot of compression. I mean, I know an autofocus lens could do this too, would catch on and you could set your aperture to anything you want. But there's just something about these manual vintage lenses that just looks a little bit different. It just falls off differently, and I just think you have a little bit more control. So, hope my head's not all blown out. That's the hard part about having a bald head in sunny weather. Sometimes the light just bounces off, because if I put my hoodie on, it kind of protects my face too, and looks a little bit better, right? This reminds me of American Gods. You ever watch that Stars Network show? Amazing show. And so there was a scene at the beginning that kind of reminds me of this. So anyway, how does this look? Let's go somewhere else. Before we leave here, I just wanted to show you, if you're afraid of using manual focus, for moving subjects, like I'm at f16 now, so I'm closed all the way down, so you should be able to see everything. And how does it look when I'm moving around, walking in and out of focus? Because I'm set to infinity focus, so I should be cool for quite a long time, when I'm walking back towards the camera. And this could be me in a moment of kind of personal. I could get some close-ups of myself here too, but you shouldn't be afraid of using manual focus, because there's really so much you could do if you just play with your aperture and really pay attention to the distance from the camera and really use those dials, like learn what those dials are on your lens. And man, you could get some amazing lenses really cheap that just look beautiful and have all kinds of character. And I don't know, save a lot of money, spend more money on like gimbals and tripods and lights and all the other stuff that you need. Wardrobe, pay your actors, pay the people that work with you, pay yourself, eat good food. Yeah, so let's go someplace else. And like I said, don't ever be afraid, just because you're using a manual focus lens, to walk in and out of the camera. Now, this has nothing to do with my manual focus discussion today and using vintage lenses, but I do want to say this. I'm shooting just with 50 millimeters right now. And you know, most people think like you can only get lonely, long, wide shots with a wide angle lens. But you could actually shoot an entire film with just one focal length, and 50 millimeters or maybe 35 millimeters is a pretty cool choice to do that. But I'm going to come back here later and I'm going to shoot this same shot with a wide angle lens, and you'll see the difference. And it's not that big of a difference, especially if I keep walking out here. You know, 50 millimeters, I should still look pretty lonely out here because there's nothing here but me, you know? And we're not really dealing with compression. And so you don't have to have an ultra wide angle lens. You can make, what I'm trying to say is, you can tell stories with one lens. You don't have to have a whole bunch of stuff. So I'll come back later and show you what it looks like, because I got my Minolta 28 millimeter with me too. So it's pretty beautiful out here though, right? Sunny as hell. And there are gigantic chestnuts or something off this tree. So, yeah, I'm up here in Rhinebeck, New York, on the Hudson River. You could see the Kingston-Rhinebeck Bridge back there, I think. Maybe. It's pretty beautiful here. It's February 10th, which is my birthday. It is 61 degrees in upstate New York. It's even warmer in New York City. I was supposed to go to the city today. I was actually supposed to go to B&H, which a lot of you know. And I forgot that they're religious Jews and they're closed by 1 o'clock on Friday. So anyway, I just wanted to shoot a short video today of, you know, how I really love using these vintage lenses. I love using manual lenses. I love feeling a part of the process. I love kind of, you know, having more control over the image that I'm shooting and the way it's going to look, you know, where it's going to be blurry, if everything's going to be clear. And I actually love the character of these lenses. The colors look a little bit different to me. They're not quite as sharp, but they're pretty damn sharp too. So, you know what, let me get closer to you because I feel too far away. Hold up one sec. All right, so we're a little bit closer, but not too close. We're socially distancing. So, like I was saying, I like having more control with these lenses. I like working with them. I like the way they feel. I like everything about them. And I love that, you know, my father owned these lenses. That's pretty cool. You know, I mean, I've talked a lot in a lot of these videos about my kind of, you know, contentious relationship with my father over the years, and how it's pretty amazing that he was a photographer and now I'm doing this kind of work. This is probably going to blow out my head, right? It's pretty amazing that my father, you know, was a photographer in World War II, and you know, he was a big hobbyist after a while, and now I'm doing this, and I could have shared this with him. So what are you doing? You know, I'm actually, the reason I was going to B&H was because, okay, I'm going to say it. I am finally going to get rid of my Sony a6400 because, you know, I thought I was going to keep it. I thought it'd be a good idea to keep both cameras. But honestly, I haven't really touched the Sony very much since I got my Panasonic S5. And I'm like, why am I sitting here doing this? You know, why is this thing just sitting in the house, not being used? It's kind of disrespectful to the camera. And you know, I'm kind of emotionally attached to it because I learned so much on it. But I'm gonna go down to B&H and I'm gonna make a deal. I'm gonna sell Sony a6400. I'm gonna sell my Sony 35mm f1.8 OSS lens. I'm gonna sell my 55-210. I'm gonna sell the kit lens for this Panasonic S5, the 20-60, and I'm gonna get a Sigma f2.8 zoom lens. And I am not the zoom guy. I don't really use zoom lenses that much, but I feel like I should have a good general zoom lens for this camera. Just at least one, and one autofocus lens, at least one. I just want to be prepared. You know, I am going to be shooting a documentary later this year, and I want to be prepared for it. So I feel like I just should have that. But otherwise, I think, you know, like I said, I sent back the anamorphic lens that I work with because I can't get a whole kit. So I think what I'm going to focus on now is my 28mm Minolta, my 50mm Minolta. I'll have the Sigma, and I will probably get a few, excuse me, a few inexpensive, maybe cine lenses, or, you know, just manual lenses, some vintage lenses. I mean, I have the Helios, I have to get an adapter for it. And that's what I'm going to do, and onward I go to tell this story. I'm really excited to be working on my film. If the weather would get bad, I'd be happier right now, which is kind of amazing to say. Who wants bad weather? But that's what I need for this film. So anyway, now I'm just blabbering on. I'm going to end this with a wide shot of that wide open pasture that I was in before, so you can see the difference between the 50 and the 28 in that kind of scenario. And yeah, save some money. Use manual lenses. Use manual focus. Get involved more with the image that you're making. You know, think more about it. Be more intentional about it. You know, make it a real, tangible part of your story, along with the script. You know, it's not just about the words. It's not just about the characters. If you're making a film, it's about the image. You know, the visual storytelling. So that's it. I'll be back soon. All right, check out this wide look. Okay, this is the last shot of the day. 28mm Minolta lens. I got it at f16, so you can see everything. It's the end of the day, and I am in the exact same spot that I was in at the 50mm lens earlier today. And I probably look pretty tiny out here, and this would be perfect for like a lonely kind of scenario, a very reflective moment, which is interesting because you can have a very reflective moment close up too. It could be very poignant, but I love these kind of far away shots, and I love using wide angle lenses, but I also love using longer lenses. So anyway, this has been a great day. I appreciate you following me around all day on my birthday. I'm up here in Rhinebeck, New York. I'm actually getting ready to go order some Indian food because a friend of mine got me a gift certificate to my favorite Indian restaurant up here. And yeah, it was a beautiful day. Although it's February 10th, it was 60 degrees today. Now it feels a little chilly, but I mean chilly. February 10th, upstate New York. It's supposed to be like ice all over the ground. It's supposed to be crazy this time of year, so whatever. It is what it is, one day at a time. So again, don't be afraid to get manual lenses. You can get them so much cheaper. You'll feel more a part of the process using your aperture ring and your focus ring, and it's just kind of cool. You get a different kind of look. They have a lot of character. Like everybody wants a Helios, right? So I have these Minoltas. I have a Helios at home as well, and grateful to have them. So, all right, I'm done talking. Go get back to your life, and we'll continue another day. All right, peace.